What's up, y'all? This is the Authentic Empress. As you can tell by the caption, it says witches and warlocks of your family. Um, this plot or a series of plots discussed secretively, arranged, different ones, whichever would work. There were many failed attempts to take you out, to get you to take yourself out, to drive you mentally insane, to cause you to either lose your life or be put in a position to be harmed or harm yourself, or to give up on your destiny, give up on your purpose. Anything that they could use to validate this false narrative that for many of you they've been crafting since you were a child, since you were a preteen, a teen. So thinking of Yeshua, and even though he was doing good, he was sharing his gifts, he was multiplying his gifts, he was generous with his gifts and abilities, and using them for the purpose intended by the divine. There were still scenarios where he had to flee potentially dangerous situations or traps and snares that were planted and plotted by enemies, or rather people who volunteered to be enemies, or people who had a nature of hatred about them, envy, self envy, and thus projecting that onto him. People who had a lack of really knowing themselves, or a lack of discovering that higher version purpose, that despite whatever generational curses and patterns were put in place, or kind of followed your bloodlines. You know how if one, if a certain generation or a certain person were called and they did not heed the call, and instead they kind of just gave in to their fleshly temptations or fleshly temptations, it usually passes on, to the next heir type of thing. Or many, not many, but, some of you literally manifested being in certain bloodlines in order to help what they obviously struggle to overcome, to transmute, okay, so that the legacy can not only be preserved, the bloodline and the ancestry can not only be preserved, but that the gifts and abilities associated, the abundance, the harvest associated with said bloodlines, is also like preserved and multiplied. So it's almost like the parable of the talents, parable of the sower, parable of the talents, where the king gave each person a certain amount of gifts and abilities and talents, and they were told to multiply that. And basically, based on whether they're successful with doing so, would determine the abundance or what they receive, what they earn in return of that. So it talks about how one person buried that talent, they buried that gift, they chose not to do anything with it. They were operating from a place of fear, from a place of lack, from a place of not really having belief in themselves. You guys, there's literally been people in your family, assigned spiritually, as well as people you have come to know or come to experience or align with, or more so like connect with, be bombarded with, whose sole mission was or became to get you to bury your gifts and bury your talents, get you to be in an energy of doubt, self doubt, fixated on emotional turmoil. So constantly, whether paying for magic, paying for roots, speaking into existence, it's all magic. It's all energy manipulation, okay? It's all abuse of alchemy, so to speak. Trying to constantly create scenarios where you feel like, regardless of your efforts of maintaining your divinity, of trying to stay focused or staying focused on your goals and aspirations related to your purpose, related to the bigger picture, okay, related to multiplying your gifts. They wanted you to constantly be put into scenarios where you're experiencing conflict that's senseless. It doesn't, it's, it's inconveniencing, or it's so egregious or overwhelming that, due to the excessiveness of you experiencing these type of, obstacles that are intended to be blocks, you were the plan was to get you, what was to force you into some type of insanity, force you into some type of mental anguish where you are puzzled, you are paralyzed in a certain state. Anything that prevents you from progressing, from moving forward, because in order to do so, you need to have a self determination. You need to have a level of ambition. You need to have a level of, being encouraged and motivated, feeling empowered of self. You need to have some type of push and drive and the energy in order to fulfill, certain things. So these obstacles, especially like dealing with people, I'm saying like conflict that seems to appear out of nowhere, that doesn't seem to make sense. Like you could literally consciously, and because it has a lot to do with your character, you can literally consciously, be intentionally moving in a way to avoid things from, becoming problems, or, and it's almost like, let's say, even in your doing that, the person on the opposite end, like it could be the smallest thing. It's almost like people, or the person looks for any leeway, anything that they could possibly take and turn, or modify the narrative to basically create a false conflict where you're put in, or you're ended up being left in an emotional state of wondering, what did I do? Why me? Why does this keep happening to me? What's the point of me trying? What's the point of me being here? Basically wanting you to also not only ridicule yourself, but cancel yourself. Wanting you to cancel, not counsel, but cancel your own self, by making you feel like the reason why you're constantly experiencing drama or experiencing conflict. And I'm saying, like, and it's a reason, like there's a strategy, there's a science, so to speak, to this, for themes to seem like, oh, it's going well, things are working out for you, and then something, you know random, out of nowhere, it seems, literally happens right out of nowhere. And that abruptness about it, the shock value about it, is supposed to knock you off your kilter. It's supposed to, you know, really throw you off your focus, throw you off mentally, discourage you, keep you distracted or distract you, right? Like, just, it's a multitude of, things that it's intended to do. Anything to stop you, anything to cause you to give up, to no longer proceed. Or if you do proceed, they want you to proceed in a manner of fear. So it's almost like, from the outside, you know, constantly piling certain energies on you for you to encounter and experience through different people, places, or things, until they finally push you into a mental state where now you're creating or you're helping to create unfortunate events, right? Or misfortune of some kind, or you causing yourself to miss out on your own blessings due to fear, or anything of that nature, or the sisters and cousins of fear, anxiety, putting you in a space of constantly overthinking scenarios, thinking the worst, fearing the worst because of the history of constant obstacles being put up against you that didn't make sense. So they want you to, it's like they don't even want you to feel safe in being a good person. They don't want you to feel safe in being generous, being trustworthy, or being a dependable person, being loyal. These people are wanting scenarios to unfold that when you were noble on your end, you were loyal. They want you to experience disloyalty. They want you to feel betrayed or experience some type of betrayal so that you feel like, what's the point of being loyal? For you to basically sacrifice your own God given good traits and qualities and characteristics, right? That we need more people to hold on to retain in order to create more balance and harmony. So it's like they've been trying to, in a multitude of ways, slowly but steadily eliminate those good aspects and qualities about you and eventually turn you into them or beneath them, or, put you in a place where they no longer view you in this mindset, or this concept that, oh, you think you're better, you know you think you're so good, and blah 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 blah, right? Whatever it is that triggers them, right? It makes them feel even more less than about themselves. So what can this look like? And I'm going to post some cards that I pulled yesterday that's also related to this message. I'm going to put that as the thumbnail, but we're going to also see if it comes out again. But so the cards that I had pulled for myself personally was the root chakra card, and this is from a spiritual warfare deck. Root chakra card, the family card, banish, and relationships. So some of you guys could have definitely had someone in your family or family members working together to banish or cause some type of ending or try to manifest endings, like when it comes to your relationships with others, right? So for example, let's say you don't feel, or you feel like these people don't make you feel like they really treat you like the kind of family oriented energy that you long for, that you desire, that you provided at one point, or that you tried to give. Not saying that it wasn't received to a degree, but it could have been received in a sense of some type of strategy, but not from a genuine place, right? Due to some type of envy or jealousy, or self hate that they could have been projecting onto you due to your courage to go after your dreams, your goals, to constantly believe in yourself, or your courage to not give in to peer pressure or feel like you have to reduce yourself to be accepted by others, or, seeking other people's approval. The work that you've done, even when it comes to being in solitude or isolating yourself by choice, right? Doing the self evaluation, undergoing or, growing into self actualization, transmuting. And then, another thing that was feared too, that these people really wanted to mush up your mind about, they wanted to confuse you about your own intuition and discernment, your own clarity. A lot of you guys, like, it's so easy to get caught up in the flesh and what we see. Is so easy when there's so many people putting out so much falsehood about faith and about God and the Most High, wanting us to believe that God does not exist, the Most High does not exist, that we are the gods, and we somehow just manifested here on our own. There's no higher power beyond just space and dust. You get what I'm saying? Like, just wanting you to not really see the truth of who you are and the reason why you're here, wanting you to forget why you are here, okay? The spiritual purpose of things. right? The spiritual reality of things. They want you to get so caught up in the flesh, what's around you, that you eventually become blind or become numb or no longer feel confident in relying or feel satisfied or content with the reality of things spiritually and energetically. Some of you guys, for those of you who partook in, let's say, maybe you partook in drinking or smoking weed or smoking anything, or whatever the case may be, or some type of activities, maybe going out, whatever that may be for you, you definitely had individuals in your family who, and it could have been odd situations, like for some of you or for some of them, it could have been surprising for these people to offer you certain things, because maybe at some point, like when you were younger or whatever, you may have felt the need to keep these things private or keep these activities private from these particular people out of respect, right? They may have created some type of idea that, oh, this is not something that they will allow or tolerate, and so respectfully, you may have like kept certain things private about what you choose to do to entertain yourself or to cope even. All right. Because of, fear, or just you knowing that it will be used against you somehow by these people, right? Or these people may treat you differently, in some way, shape, or form. So, but like I was saying, let's say these people invited you to certain activities that, and let's say you could have been in a place where you have not been smoking, you was not drinking, you was not going out anymore, whatever, distasteful habit, you have let that go, you released it. And during that time when you have done so, you could have had energies, try to basically get you back, or put you in an addictive state, an addictive energy, right? Because even though it may be one thing that's being of use, like let's say somebody gave you some marijuana, these activities or these substances, whatever these gifts and offers were hexed, okay? They were hexed to put you in some type of addictive energy. Or for some of you guys, there could have been other manifestations or intentions associated with, those items, in regards to the hex, right? So the hex can manifest in different ways. It can manifest in mental illness, addiction, you or the intentions could be to harm your mental energy or your brain, or your body to an extent. The intentions can be to cause you to start having dreams. Like many of us know, who participate in smoking weed from time to time or has in the past, we understand that when you smoke weed, you don't have dreams anymore. Like, and I'm sure some people will argue that they do, and I'm not saying that you never can still have dreams, but for the most part, when you smoke marijuana, you don't really have dreams anymore like that. And that's problematic when a part of your purpose and why the divine has you here is to have prophetic dreams that can not only save you, protect you, or help you move more wisely, throughout your life or throughout situations, but can also provide you clues and clarity on those around you or those whom you may be put on assignment to help, to protect, to deliver whatever message or, you know, whatever the purpose of that prophetic dream may be, okay? To warn you of what's to come, right? To give you the opportunity and the advantage to move, wisely or get ahead of something before it overtakes you or whatever the intention may be, right? But those spiritual eyes that you have, right? They're trying to shut your spiritual eyes. They're trying to get you to question your faith in God, question your own gifts and abilities, right? Therefore, questioning what you deem as your truth or the truth of what's going on around you that you can't really, you can't always process or identify through just the physical eyes or the physical senses of alone, right? They're trying to create some type of disconnect from your nervous system, your spiritual aspect of yourself and your physical body. They're trying to sever those connects because it's critical, it's crucial for every aspect of you to be intertwined, interrelated, to coincide, to work in harmony so that you have the most accurate depiction of your reality, right? Or the reality of what's going on around you, what is taking place, right? That way you're not led into traps. You're not led into these snares, right? So, yeah, that's just what I wanted to share with you guys. And I am going to pull some cards in regards to this. But yeah, so there's been like a lot of effort put into creating confusion or creating some type of doubt, even of truths that you got into a place of seeing clearly or processing accurately, even after doing so, even after you making adjustments, right? You separating yourself, you seeing what is revealed to you and moving accordingly. It's almost like they've been putting in effort to get you to doubt what you once believed was true about them, like the truth of their nature, their intentions, and who they really are, beyond roles, beyond their positional status in this physical realm, right? So yeah, it's just being mindful because there's so many things that can register as distractions, right? Just because it's tangible, you can touch it, you can see it, you can feel it. So they've been just working overtime. People have been working overtime to get you to doubt what makes you so beautiful, what makes you so rare, what causes them to be envious of you, to be jealous of you, right? The things that they fear, that they doubt, that, it's easy for them to give into the doubt, right? Or give into the peer pressure of, oh, if I was to move this way, if I talk this way, if I pursue a lifestyle in this manner, people are going to talk about me. They're going to look down on me. They're not going to approve me. They're not going to accept me. They're not going to want to be around me, invite me to things. I'm not going to be viewed as cool, that girl, that guy, all about image and reputation, right? About what things look like, what they seem to have, how people view them. And it's not that there's anything wrong with you being, or caring about that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you wanting to have a good reputation amongst others, you wanting to be viewed in a positive light amongst others. But the thing is, it's best for you to do that authentically. It's best for you to do that by a code of ethics, right? A code of morale, divinity, right? Multiplying the gifts and the talents that are given to you by the divine, your divine gifts and abilities, right? So, but you have people who are trying to take shortcuts, or they've been sold the idea that these things are not top tier. These things are not what really matters, what really gets you far or gets you what you want in life in the flesh, right? So, yeah, if you guys have been experiencing, like, it seems like you've been experiencing conflict with individuals that you care about, that you develop care, consideration about, even strangers, you guys. But where the stranger is associated with a place, a thing, a goal, an aspiration, to distract you from whatever that goal and aspiration is, to discourage you from continuing on, from even wanting to come around, to continue going to the place of business, or education, whatever is required for you to obtain certain keys, or you aligning with certain paths in order to fulfill your purpose of why you're even here, why you're even alive, right? So for many of you, this could be It really varies. It could be parents, a parent, cousins, siblings, right? Even friends, people you've dated, associates, business partners. The point is a person who has access to you, period. A person who is in proximity to you, to your energy, right? Whoever is vulnerable enough spiritually to be used to work against you. And not only are these people being used to work against you, but it's like they're being used to work against you, but they're also having their destiny and their vital energy being stolen from them as well by being too weak, to actually be used for evil. So I guess the better way to say that is like killing two birds with one stone, or taking out, as many as you can, like, and using the weaker vessel to take out, the stronger vessel, or using a multitude of weaker vessels to take out the stronger vessel. But regardless, everybody loses their opportunity to live the kind of lifestyle that the divine would like to bless us with, or has for us, or has predestined for us. So the destiny swapping thing, right? That type of idea, right? Basically, pushing pushing you to a place of giving up your destiny so that it's up for grabs for those who don't deserve it, for those who are not willing to do the work um, in order to reap their own, or they sold it for something of the physical, something of the flesh, or this earthly realm. Okay, so like how money comes and goes, it's kind of like that. So you can look at what they sold their spiritual currency for. Let's say there's no value behind what they traded it in for, so they get nothing back from it, and so they're having to go and try to take other people's destiny, other people's energy, or spiritual currency that actually has value behind it, right? Destiny swapping. So I parted the deck and we have root chakra. But this is an ancestral healing and a spiritual warfare deck. I have them combined. So I have two root chakra cards for each category. The one that came out is for the ancestral healing. And then right behind this card, you have the karmic card. Okay, so karmic individuals. Okay, so it says the root chakra. It says the root chakra connection to the earth, the material world, controls our connection to our primal needs, safety, security, and survival. Factors such as finances can create generational blockages within the root chakra that can manifest as an overemphasis on the material world. This could also indicate a need to focus more on grounding. There could be an overabundance of mental or emotional energy in your lineage. Okay? And then you have karmic. A karmic is an individual that creates karma in our lives through our association with them. Our association with them. Anybody who is whom you are in association with, proximity to, right? Let's say it could be a classmate. You guys are in the same class. These people have access to you, right? A roommate, okay, a family member, whoever is around you and who is weak enough in their vessel to be used for evil, right? So it says they are a reflection of our lowest selves. This card indicates an individual you have already identified as a karmic partner is facilitating attacks on you, and the sole focus of these attacks is your root chakra, your finances, your security, your stability, right? Your emotional and mental energy, and trying to create an overabundance of that energy, but in a low vibration. Okay. There's something about the worthiness of your name, the value that your name holds. I'm usually somebody who's really fast, and I am still fascinated with the meaning of names, but I have, kind of scurried away from certain things that I really like was more consistent with on top of. But it's a very decoding type of thing. Y'all, there's literally a cat crying. Ugh, I hate to hear that. I don't know what that is about. But moving forward, everything happens for a reason. So somebody could be being captured, caught in a snare that was intended for you. I don't know. I've even heard somebody say sometimes when you hear that is a cat mating. I'm not sure. But let's say, you know, is there something here about wanting to attack your lineage, like your legacy that you manifest out of your body directly, whether that is attacking your children, trying to kill off your children, kill off your ability to conceive, kill off, the potential for you to be in a loving, healthy connection so that you can create a family of your own. There's something about just trying to cancel, you know, what you're literally put here to do, like how you're here to transform the bloodlines that you are associated with, because they clearly have failed to do so. They're struggling to do so because they're too caught up in the flesh. They're not going deeper and beyond the surface of things to be able to participate in the evolution and the unfolding of, you know, basically like reconnecting to the divine roots, right? The divine roots of the, particular bloodline to preserve it. Because when we're talking about past lives and things of that nature, for whatever reason, like I'm seeing this. So I'm getting this vision, right? We've seen imagery of this huge, what are they called? Because I'm getting an image of like a mountain, but a cliff. That's it, a cliff. I'm getting an image of a cliff and these people who are lined up and they're literally walking in a line and just falling off the cliff. They're being led off this cliff into a pit of fire, or and basically into something that basically disintegrates them, cremates them, like destroys them entirely, right? The imagery that I'm getting, though, even though that's usually associated with heaven and hell, imagine people's bloodlines. And all those people who fail to transmute, right, and transform into the nature, their highest nature, or the nature intended by the divine. Imagine people just constantly failing at that because they're so distracted by all the objects and all the substances and materials of this world, opposed to aspiring and achieving like their spiritual purpose. So for everyone who falls into the trap, who falls into the snare, who falls into the pit of distraction, they're falling off this cliff, right? And they're being completely or utterly destroyed, right? That's like a particle, that's like a body part of that particular legacy or that ancestral line being destroyed. And but there's people in the bloodline who has the potential, everybody has the potential to regenerate, right? Generations to regenerate whatever body part has been destroyed due to the failure of somebody else not mastering themselves or reaching that higher version of themselves, or retaining their divinity. So that's the thing here too. The strength of retaining your divinity no matter what. Keeping it going instead of allowing it to die or allowing it to be buried, or you know, being pushed or forced into a mental or emotional state where you bury it, where you commit suicide, you sacrifice yourself, you sacrifice the legacy, you sacrifice the ancestral line. And y'all, there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain that comes with this because from a flesh standpoint, it don't make sense. It doesn't add up as to why you could give so much love, care, compassion, being courteous, whatever the case may be, and receive pain or hatred or disloyalty or betrayal in return, right? Even though a spiritual law may be treat others how you want to be treated, that golden rule type of thing, you can't always guarantee that people will treat you, how you deserve to be treated, regardless of you treating them how you would like for them to treat you in return, right? With the highest vibration of love, okay? Elm Street. What are you working on today? What are you working on today? Yeah, because when you think about people's list of priorities from their everyday, like, there's really people where spiritual work, right, internal work is not a part of their list of priorities. There's always a way where you can evolve and grow, right, for the better in your each and every day. But sometimes people can choose to fill their day with distractions, right? Fill their days with vanities, okay? Temptation, lust filled quest, okay? And the more or the longer they stay in that energy, is the closer they are to falling off that cliff into destruction, right? Because we cannot, or it's not wise, or it was never intended for us to completely neglect our spiritual existence, like our spiritual selves. Illusion itself is a distraction from the reality of things, right? And there's a reason why there's a whole phrase such as strong illusion, strong delusion, right? It's a reason why, we see people break mentally. It's a reason why people are driven to the point of no return, or driven to, the darkest of evils, where they're, willing to not only destroy themselves, but to destroy other people without just cause. There's a reason why people are so mentally far away from God that they can harm a child, they can molest a child, they can murder a child. It's a reason for all of this, because of how far away they are from their divinity, how far away they've strayed, or they've been, pushed or manipulated to, become so distant from God. The sins of our fathers manifest through the children or affect the children. So anytime one person, or you can have a family member, or you can know somebody that, you can have a family member that seem like they so far gone, or they, seem like they so dark and so evil and so displaced. It can be easy for us to, acknowledge that and talk about it and, gossip or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, from a responsible standpoint, viewpoint, spiritually, you also need to recognize this as a threat on your legacy, a threat on your lineage, a threat on your ancestral line, and allow that, if anything, to be something that empowers you or motivates you to do whatever necessary to prevent that from continuing, from, or to prevent you, you know, from participating or adding to the extension of, the divinity of your bloodlines, or of the bloodlines that you've come to help, transmute and transform, or create some type of longevity, right? So another card, the next card we got here is mental health. Personally, I've had, a handful. I've had several anxiety attacks, panic attacks, feeling like I'm having a breakdown, like whatever, however you want to define it, whatever you want to call it. Like, I've definitely feel like I know for a fact I've experienced like anxiety attacks, and, you know, I can, be a witness to you, after seeking clarity and answers from God about it, and why I experienced that, and why it was so strong on my energy and stuff like that. God revealed to me that it wasn't even really me. It was energy being projected onto me, being casted upon me, right? Being wished upon me. When people don't succeed at whatever selfish, you know, prophecy or goal or quest of evil, intent that they have for you, or wanting to use you for their own self gratification. When things don't go how they want it to go, or, or they feel like they're being robbed of whatever reward they were hoping to reap, or whatever, I mean, yes, gratification, but what's another word? Whatever vice, okay? Whatever vice that entertains them for the moment, or makes them feel good about themselves, or feel not so much less than, right? When people don't get their way, or you avoid these snares, right? You find the ways of escape that's always available. When you escape, right? People, like it pisses some people off. It pisses their demons off. It pisses off the entities that was hungry or that's hungry for your quality of energy, right? That you remember that spiritual currency that actually holds value because you retained it. You didn't, sell yourself. You didn't sacrifice it, right? You didn't sell out. You've still been able to retain, you know, your divine riches. And regardless of what it seems like people have in the flesh or how much money and materials, that people have in the flesh, you can look like you really don't have nothing. Like you can seem like you don't have nearly as much as most of the people around you, but spiritually, you can truly be wealthy. You can have so much wealth and riches that regardless of, whatever facade people try to present on the outside, like flesh or, because of what they may have materially, seemingly more than you, regardless of whatever strong illusion people try to pull you into, spiritually, they see that you are very wealthy. Spiritually, they are aware of your spiritual richness, okay, your spiritual prosperity and abundance, and they want some of that. They want in, or they want it for themselves. So this is when you'll find people going back and forth, from whether they want to be cool with you or whether they want to be at odds with you. That's why in many cases things manifest like that in connections. People being in between two minds, right? Because they're so irritated that, you know, what they're trying to carry out is not fucking working. But at the same time, they're desperate for what you have because what you have is rare. What you have, you know, unleashes a feeling or a hope, a desire that they don't really get or feel with a lot of people that, they come across or that they attract, they align with because they are spiritually void or they're, spiritually poor or distant from God. Some of you may have had the divine reveal himself to you in a dream, in a vision. And what you may have saw was like a platinum golden light, very bright light of a presence, right? So when you are close to God, you have to understand you have that aura. When we talk about halos, I feel so much emotional energy because I know that spirit is speaking through me. And for those of you who are really true to this, like you're really of God, like it can get really, really challenging thing and very painful. You feel so deeply because your gifts are heightened for a reason. You're very sensitive to energy. You're sensitive for a reason because this has a lot to do with your ability to discern in the most accurate way possible. So you feel deeply when you are betrayed, when you are hurt, when you get let down. You feel it deeply, like it really hurts you, like it's painful, right? Let me read his mental health card. Yeah, but you definitely have people praying against your mental health or people who are having challenges with. It's like people want, let's say you've been guided to move in certain ways to protect yourself, or you've been guided to move in certain ways because of what you've been able to discern accurately about people's intentions, and this could have put them like in their head, right? And so they're wanting to project that back onto you or try to create a scenario or put you in a space where you're in your head or you think negatively about yourself, right? Because you have mental health and you have prayer affirmations, and we already had karmic and root chakra come out. So the mental health card says we can in fact inherit mental health patterns and intellectual abilities from our ancestors, whether it be through nature, DNA, or nurture conditioning. If our ancestors were not well, this card could indicate that current mental health and intellectual health issues are stemming from ancestral karma. This can also indicate the inheritance of certain intellectual abilities as well. Again, whether this be from your own family directly or other people's family, and them, you connecting with them or having some type of association with them, or they have some type of access to you where they're being used, or whatever mental illnesses that could be associated with that ancestral line, right? The grandfathers, the grandmothers, that they've passed it on to them, right? The children of that generation, right? If they have not yet transmuted that energy or even identify it to be able to transmute and transform it, that energy more than likely, will be activated within them and then used against you to try to activate whatever presence of mental illness could be associated with your ancestral line, or trying to swap with the intellectual abilities, the mental healthy patterns of your generation, of your ancestral line, with the illnesses of theirs. Destiny swapping. So, whenever you're having an anxiety attack, a panic attack, like you're really, really low, or you're feeling really or extremely depressed, eventually, you know, while you're processing whatever that is or however it expresses itself or comes out, eventually you need to try to get yourself in a place where you pause and you identify what exactly it is, or why exactly you are experiencing those feelings, why you are in that space. Identify if it's really yours or if it's coming from elsewhere, if it's being projected. And you can identify everything that you need clarity on, everything that you need to know for your highest good, for your spiritual protection. You can find out directly through God. You can find out directly through your divine spirit guides, your divine ancestors, the ascended masters associated with you, the angels that's been assigned to you. You can find out everything you need to know that's going to protect you and help you to do whatever necessary to preserve your legacy, your goodness, your divinity, your loving kindness, all the qualities passed on to you from the divine. You can find out. But I'm telling you, people are going to try to get you into addictive habits. People are going to try to get you associated things that's going to, in a way, deactivate, cause something to be dormant, or turn off some spiritual attribute or superpower that you have, so that you you know you basically fall into that snare, ultimately die, ultimately lose it for good, lose your mental for good, put yourself in a situation you can't get out of, right? Prayers and affirmations. It says prayers, chants, and affirmations are in many ways word magic. So karma individuals using word magic against you to induce some type of mental illness or insanity, mental um, anguish, so that you no longer want to do or live as a divine being anymore. You really question whether it's worth it. Is it really worth all the attacks? Cause you to view other people who are not of God anymore, who have, who are basically kind of minions of the devil, right? Cause you to look at their life and their riches. Remember, Satan offered Jesus, or offered Yeshua, all the kingdoms of the world if he was to bow down to him. And he said, I shall live on nothing but the bread of God, the bread of life, the word of God, every word of God, whatever God tells me to do, whatever words of God written and embedded and encrypted in my heart. Basically wanting you to destiny swap, wanting you to swap your spiritual prosperity and abundance for some shit that's, that moths can eat up, that's not going to last, that you can't take with you into the next lifetime. That you're clearly having to retrieve in this lifetime. Something that whatever riches and prosperity and abundance that you had in past lives, if you're in this lifetime and you're having challenges around that, you know what I'm saying? Clearly, there's covetous people, individuals who do everything in their physical power to try and steal these things from you, these physical things from you. Hoping that if they could hold it up, if they could steal it, if they could put things in your way to block and prevent you from achieving those things or retaining those things again, that you will get in a place or be put in a place mentally where you will feel so desperate that you will also give up your spiritual abundance. You will also give up your spiritual prosperity. You will also give up your spiritual wealth and richness and riches. That's literally the goal. That's literally the goal. So sometimes you're going to have to, be made to feel alone in the physical. But you have to remember that it is so much worthwhile that you are not alone in the spirit. Sometimes you're going to have to face what seems like poverty or seems like lack in the physical. But you cannot forget that you have so much in the spirit that is literally just a strong delusion. It's a strong illusion. So many people struggle with their faith in God because they can't always see God. That doesn't mean that God won't reveal himself to you. But so many people struggle with that because they can't see God. They can't see God like they can see their girlfriend, like they can see their boyfriend, they can see their homeboys or homegirls. They can see their boss man, their associates. They can't see God. Like they can see the physical, dollar bills and money in their hand. They can't see God. You can't really see your spirit. You can't see your voice. You can hear it. You can't see your breath, but you living in the physical. And you know what? Sometimes you can see. There are times when you can't see your breath, when it's cold. There are times when you can't see your words. If you're talking into something, you talking to a recorder and it types out your words. The point is, there will be times when you are able to see God, where God will reveal himself, where if you truly want to see God and seek God, whenever you are able to see your words manifested, like written, you have to turn on that recorder that's going to type out the words that you speak. You have to seek that out. As kids, we used to think it was fun to, like when it's colder and it's winter time, we used to think it was so fun to go outside and be able to see our breath. But you have to seek that out. You have to go outside and actually do it. So you have to seek God out if you want to see God. It's not that God would never reveal himself. It's not that God is not real. But you have to seek God. And you have to know how. You have to know that, there's a such thing as a recorder, and where do you find it? You locate it on a phone or some type of technology. You have to know where to find it. You have to seek it out. You have to find out how. And God tells you how. God tells you how to see him, to seek him out. Third eye. Attacking your third eye and your heart. You have a very strong for some of you guys. And it can be either lineage, it could be either bloodline, whether patriarchal or matriarchal. But here we have matriarchal health. The matriarchal spiritual health of your matriarchal bloodline is extremely powerful for someone. Okay? In regards to the heart chakra energy and the third eye abilities, as well as the throat chakra, because all three of them came out. We have third eye, heart chakra, and throat chakra health. The third eye manages our ability to see our reality from a higher perspective and to visualize, which is a powerful tool for ancestral healing. Your ancestors could have had a blocked third eye due to religious programming, chemical warfare, and mass traumas. This card indicates a need to add more emphasis to your third eye through clearing techniques and balancing in order to access higher dimensions of awareness, as well as more powerful visualizations that can enhance your practice and life overall. Some of you guys, disagreements can be being projected into your relationships, discord, disharmony, to make you fear the worst, to make you visualize the worst outcomes, to overthink yourself out of your own blessing, to overthink yourself into fear and anxiety, overthink yourself into feeling worthless, questioning your value, questioning whether you're lovable, whether you'll ever receive real, genuine love, whether you'll ever be loved properly or receive the things that you desire in your heart. Cause you to visualize things, therefore expediting negative manifestations or misfortunes that they desire for you. Cause your heart to harden or turn cold so that it affects what you visualize for yourself. Cause you to visualize unhealthy scenarios and outcomes. Or some type of altered reality. Cause you to speak against yourself or speak against, your destiny, your blessings. Speak against yourself. Speak against yourself. This card indicates a need to add more emphasis to your third eye through clearing techniques and balancing in order to access higher dimensions of awareness, as well as more powerful visualizations that can enhance your practice and life overall. And then we have the heart chakra. The heart chakra is the gateway between our higher self and our lower self. It regulates our sense of empathy for others, emotions, and compassion. Restrictions, trauma, and other ancestral trauma factors can weaken the heart chakra, creating generational patterns such as codependency, disconnection from our own emotions, and in extreme cases, ruthlessness toward others. Throat chakra. The throat chakra is the center of communication and creative self-expression. Societal factors and restrictive circumstances that hindered our ancestors' ability to express themselves freely could be impacting you now. A blockage in creativity or imbalance in our communication skills are an indication of lingering trauma and karma around the throat chakra. Some of you guys could be noticing, these differences in yourself and how you communicate. You guys could very well, have a reputation of being an amazing communicator, especially when it comes to communicating your thoughts, communicating downloads that you get, how you see the world, how you process experiences, okay? Your perspective, your higher perspective, and how you communicate it. how you express your creativity through your gifts and your talents, whether it be through singing, whether it be through music or any kind of artistry, okay? Any type of organizational or leadership skills, innovativeness, whatever that may be, however you express yourself. It can even be through how you make people feel, how you're able to uplift people, how you're able to make people laugh, how you're able to make people enjoy life a little more. Whatever it may be. You could have experienced some challenges with that, like some challenges of going back and forth, or whether you should just be silent. Like, what's the point of talking? What's the point of speaking? What's the point of sharing myself with people if they're just going to treat me this way, if they're not going to appreciate me, if they're not going to value me? What's the fucking point? That's the point. To put you in that type of state against yourself. That's the point. Health. When this card is pulled, it indicates that the purpose of the spiritual attacks is to debilitate your health. This can also indicate that the karmic energies you are surrounded by are negatively impacting you. An alternative meaning based on the inquiry and surrounding cards can indicate that the individual you are defending yourself against is currently experiencing health issues as a result. So these karmic individuals, and it doesn't have to directly be just, family, but if there's witches and warlocks in your family who have been trying to manifest discord and disharmony everywhere you go to discourage you, to disempower you, right? To cause you to disengage, to give up, to, not even try anymore. Because it seems like everywhere you go, there's some type of conflict that manifests and you don't understand why it's manifesting. Not from a flesh perspective, because how you moving in the flesh, it shouldn't be manifesting that way. But somehow it just is, right? No, it's not just somehow. The how is because there's literally individuals working to manifest or cast or project these things to unfold into your life in order to disturb your divine nature. So now these individuals are experiencing health issues within their third eye, their heart chakra, their throat chakra, their mental health, and their root chakra. Because you reap what you sow. And something that I always say is, the seeds that you sow, are not going to blossom in my garden. And something else that I would say too is that people will try to throw their bad seeds or their evil seeds. People will try to toss bad seeds and weeds into your garden. But the thing is, because you didn't plant it, you're able to identify what seeds you planted, where you planted it, okay? And the seeds that you did not plant. There's no reason for poison ivy to be growing over here because I didn't plant it. Why is it over here? It's not mine. I identify that I'm going to uproot it and I'm going to eliminate it because it can be problematic. It can cause disease and ailment to the rest of my garden, to whom I intend to feed from my garden. And for those who aspire to have their own garden, what is it that you aspire? You aspire to be able to feed yourself, your family, your legacy from your own land. So imagine somebody trying to throw poisonous seeds in your garden and you don't identify it and uproot it, and it intertwines and it disguises itself amongst the good fruit. And then someone of your family accidentally eats of that poison. So you have to do your due diligence. You have to make sure you walk through your garden. You do whatever, like you uproot whatever needs to be uprooted. You identify what's actually problematic and what's not, or what can be used for whatever reason. You identify what parts of a plant is of use and what parts that you need to cast aside, or what else can you do with it, or what do you need to eliminate overall. You have to do your due diligence and your spiritual maintenance. You have to. And it's crucial to retain that because it's going to help you. It's going to help you do the same outwardly in this earthly realm through your flesh. Because if you have no type of spiritual anchoring to the Most High, it's going to be easy for you to fall. Or it's that saying, if you don't stand for something, it's easy for you to fall for anything. If you're not anchored in God, it's easy for you to drift off into other things that you should not, other places you should not be. Risking becoming anchored or attached to something that is not of God, whether that be entities, okay, or an entity that you've attached yourself to, or that you know allow yourself to be in a place where it can attach itself to you and literally serve as a parasitic, energy. It feeds off you. It uses your vessel to do all the evil, or indulge in things that it did when it had a body. Why is there such thing as possessions and people being able to be possessed by spirits and demons? They're selfish. They abuse their body, their vessel when they have one. And they're so greedy and covetous that they're willing to abuse, they're willing to steal your vessel, kill the spirit that's supposed to inhabit it, which is your true self, and destroy your body in the process to achieve, to engage in temptations and lust, and lust and all this shit. Addictions. Destroying your body in the process, destroying your legacy, your ancestry in the process. Literally, that's the gist of things. Literally. Feeling like you'll never have love, chosen one. Feeling like you'll never have that family you deserve, your own family. Feeling like you'll, never be able to fulfill that purpose and those goals or those big dreams, intended to help people on a large scale, whatever it may be. Excuse me. It's a strong illusion. It's a strong delusion. None of it is true. None of it is true. Again, the strategy is to constantly try to unleash an energy that will affect weaker vessels around you or that are in proximity to you, so that the repetition of that energy, the frequency of that energy, puts you in a place of feeling like or beginning to believe that you will never receive or experience real love, real commitment, real loyalty, the family you deserve, the friendships you deserve, the career, the lifestyle that you deserve. But it's a strong illusion. It's a delusion. So when you have your moments, when you meditate, or when you're when you crashing out for a moment, when you crashing out, when you're distraught, when you feel so low down and dirty, have that moment. But come out of it and see it for what it is. Call your energy back. Return any energy that is not of yours, that is not yours to sender. Speak to God about whatever it is. Talk to God about it. Ask God what it is, where it came from. What is its intended purpose? And what is the truth of the reality despite what it's trying to convince you to believe? What is the actual truth? Ask God what God has for you. This is how something is making me feel. These are the thoughts that I'm having. I'm overthinking God. I'm worried. I'm concerned. I'm afraid. God didn't give you the spirit of fear. God has provided everything for us to be able to unveil and unmask illusions and delusions created by Satan. God is real. Satan is real. Don't let these people convince you otherwise. God is real. God is real. I've seen God myself on 2 different occasions. I've seen God. I've seen God in a vision. I've seen God in a dream. I felt God. God is real. I may not be able to give you actual physical flesh features of God, but I've seen God in the spirit. And I've had someone whom I didn't tell, I've never told him the characteristics of what God, what God looked like when God revealed. I've never told him the characteristics, and God has aligned me, with a person or whom when they described. I met this woman who literally tried to kill herself. And in that moment, when she was out for a little bit, she had a vision of God, and she described to me what God looked like. And she described the very thing that I saw, that I knew immediately it was God. He made it very clear that it was him. And he will make it clear to you when you seek it out. You seek out the answers. Ask and you shall receive. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. But retain your love. Retain your hope. Retain all your God-given qualities. Tell me why on the captions on my TV, the 2 words that just stood out, that just showed itself, was this girl saying, "Oh my God," and the next sentence was golden. Literally, that's what color God's aura is. Golden platinum. It's like a blend of gold, platinum, and white, literally. And it's just a very bright, like the brightest star. The brightest star. So imagine how obvious it is when you come around, when you show up, because you got the Spirit of God on you. You got that anointing. I'm going to end it here. This is your girl, the Authentic Empress. Please do like, comment if you resonate with this. And I'll see you guys next time.